Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela. So I just did one video talking about the Children of Litha knockoff I got in the mail, which irritated the crap out of me because I have been wanting that deck for a long time. Finally decided to bite the bullet and get it, and I saw it was half off. I paid $20-something for this deck. It was half off of whatever. It was supposed to be like $50. No, it was a knockoff. That's why it was half off. It looked like a legit site and everything. I'm still aggravated. I just got in the mail and I was aggravated when I realized it was a knockoff. That's besides the point. So we're doing a fun video now. So I saw this tag like 3 years ago, maybe, on Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, maybe 2 years ago. I think she did a tag from somebody else, but the premise was that you have a tarot deck for each letter of your name. So mine's Angela, so it'd be Angela. Tarots that start with those letters. And up until recently, I didn't realize I didn't have any. I didn't have all of the letters. So I never did the video. And then I realized the other day, I do have some tarot decks to spell out my name. 2 of the letters I have 2 decks for. So I have a total of 8 decks. Wait. Yeah, 8 decks. Yeah, 8 decks because 6 letters. Alright, so without further ado, we're going to A. So that would be Antique Anatomy Tarot by Claire Goodchild. Opens like this. You guys know what this tarot is. It's a Abrams. This one is a Abrams Notary publication. I know there's multiple. And sorry, my neighbor's kids decided to start screaming when I'm out here. Cool book that comes with. Looks like that. This is one of the first tarot decks I edged. No, not one of the first, but one of the first 10 probably. I edged it in like this maroony wine color. It makes the decks look really, I think it went super well with the deck. To me, it makes it look a little bit more antique-y. And I love it. Love the cardstock on this as well. It just gave it more of an aged look, I think, that coloring. And then it also gave it a micro border on the back, which I don't really mind. That's crazy. It's always something out here in the yard. And I went to, it's funny I'm pulling this deck out first because I went to a town that my husband, I went to a town to put flowers on graves of family members of my husband, or distant relatives that he's had that he hasn't been to in a while, their graves. This is the rods are wands, the elixirs are cups, the coins are pentacles, and then the blades are swords. This is a beautiful deck. But anyway, we went to this town that has a very sordid history. Oh, there was even a movie named about this town. It was about an hour and a half, 2 hours from here. Very sordid past. And you could feel the tightness, the heaviness to that town when we got there. It was just crazy weird. It was very weird. Yeah, you could just feel the heaviness. The town is like basically a ghost town now. People still live there, but there's no stores, no gas stations, nothing. In fact, I had to use the bathroom when we were there. Nature calls at the worst times, right? And I asked the guy watering his yard. He's like, yeah, there's nothing here open. And I'm like, that's crazy. So I had to wait till the next town that we got to go to the bathroom. And that was his uncle's house, so, because his uncle lives in the next town over. But that was just crazy. And I've been at a lot of graves today. A lot of gravestones today. And there was like 6 or 7 graveyards there. full of graves, and I'm just surrounded by the dead today. It's crazy. So just found that fascinating that this is the first deck I'm pulling after the day I've had. The Antique Anatomy. Going with the Day of the Dead. So this is the Antique Anatomy, and of course you guys have all seen this deck. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You either love it or you hate it, honestly. And I love it. So that starts off the first letter of my name, A. So the next letter, N. I have 2 decks. One is the New Era Elements Tarot by Eleanor F. Piper, PhD, published by U.S. Games. This is a dark deck, y'all. If you don't want your darkness to be pulled out, ripped out of you, and showed to you on a silver platter, do not have this deck, because that's what this deck will do. It is based on the elements, and it's a dark, twisted deck, and I love it. Love it. I use this all the time when I first got it. But that star just, it almost reminds you of the tower, because there's this electricity, this explosion there at the top, but it's the star. It's beautiful, beautiful deck. It's dark, twisted, and I love it for its dark and twisty. And that's the first Wheel of Fortune. I was like, yes, this is totally the Wheel of Fortune here. And there's a DNA strain in there, which I think is also, like, it's a luck of the draw on the things we inherit from our ancestors or from our parents. Like I have one, like my husband, for example, his one parent is short and stocky, and one is tall and thin. His brother is short and stocky, and he's tall and thin. So you just never know. And I just found that with that DNA strain in there, it's a new, yeah, this is darker card. It's a different take on that wheel. I haven't used this in a long time. I should get this back out. It's beautiful. I love it. And it's my first kind of sort of black and white. It's more black and sepia tones. But I love it. You know, dark cards like the Devil here. Dark cards. I love the Emperor. Yeah. Love this one. It's a beautiful deck. It's also a very, very dark deck. None of the cards I'm showing you are really dark, but there's a few that are like very triggering, like that Devil card. This Tower card. Very triggering for some people. Could be. It's a gorgeous deck. Chariot. This unmovable force that just keeps moving forward. That's exactly what I think of in the Chariot. Gorgeous. Ten of Air with the vultures. That's just, it adds another nuance to this deck that just, it's crazy. The Moon, I love it. The Work. 3 of Wands, or 3 of Pentacles. The Sun card is gorgeous. One of my favorite Sun cards. Yeah, it's beautiful. The Seahorses. This is a 9 of Swords. You could think of this as cruelty, or you could think of it as I am laid bare, open for all the world to see. I'm not hiding anything anymore. And that's how I choose to look at this card. This one, beautiful. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. It's Lovers, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. It's just a gorgeous deck. This one makes me sad. Oppression. This is a 10 of Air, I think. It's just, it works for darker. You want to get down in the nitty gritty, this is the deck for you, because it will. So that's the first deck for the letter N. And I went a little crazy with that. Then we have the New Chapter Tarot, which is one of my faves. It's in my top 10 forever deck. It is published by Liminal 11. It's a 2-part box. I got this deck because, like, I feel like I need a Liminal. I need an Liminal 11 deck. None of them really resonated with me, though. I'm like, no. And then I saw this deck. Hardback book. It's published by Liminal 11. Catherine Briggs is the creator. They're smaller cards, which I love. I love the cardstock even. But I saw this, and I'm like, wow, I love the coloring in this. It's gorgeous. So I'll get it. I was not prepared for the instant love I felt for this deck. Some people also say it's a Thoth-based deck. I don't see that. I don't read Thoth. I read this very intuitively, more so mediumistically. But yeah, this deck is awesome. There's no words for this deck. No words. Like, I read her journey, and I love this deck so much that when I found out there was a special edition of it, I got the special edition also. So I have the special gold gilded edition of this deck. And just reading about her journey in creating this deck, I felt like we're like kindred now. It was a journey. I mean, and that's what I feel like I'm on. I'm on this. This deck is helping me realize I'm on the cusp of this new journey, or I'm ending a journey that the old me is going away and the new me is replacing it slowly but surely. And this deck helped me realize that. There's a lot of parts of me that have gone away that I was still holding on to without realizing it, or trying to hold on to, and it was causing conflict in my life. But I love this deck. It's gorgeous. I love the coloring in it too. So that is an extra card in there. There's a couple extra cards in here. I love this deck. So hard. And I'm glad that it represents, and yeah, look at those. The coloring is just dynamite. Dynamite. I did bend one of the cards. There's a crease in there. It's the 5 of Cups. Horrified when it happened. But it just adds to, you can't really tell unless I point it out here. It's creased. But it just kind of adds to the charm of the deck, honestly. I don't mind it. I mean, I do, but I don't. So that was in. So we're only on this second letter. Oh my god. 4 more to go. 4 more letters to go. 6 more decks. So we're on a G. And if you've seen this deck, I got it this year. It's probably the newest one here. Yeah. It's the newest deck here. It is the Gaian Tarot 4G. I trimmed it and edged it in this purple. Gorgeous. I love this deck. I did not. Honestly, I bought it just to have a project to trim and edge. Honestly. And then I got it and I started working with it and I'm like, wait a minute. This is also based on the elements. And I'm like, this is gorgeous. This is a phenomenal deck. It reads so sweet, so beautiful. I love it. And it kind of helps me keep myself grounded and keeps me in touch with Mother Earth. I do see this as a very watery deck, which I don't understand because I don't really vibe with the cup suit or the water as well as I do the earth. But this is like my water deck. Don't know why. That's just how I feel. So if I had to do a 4 elements, this would be my water deck. It's gorgeous and I love it. And everybody's seen this deck. This is, I forgot who published this. I think it's Schiffer. But it's on Amazon. All these are on Amazon. Yeah, none of them are. They're all mass market. Gorgeous. Gorgeous deck. Gorgeous. Oh, look at him. I love him. Beautiful, beautiful deck. Chariot, it comes up at, oh, yeah, that's the Hierophant. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Yeah, gorgeous deck. So that is my deck for G. And I love it. I love how the, and it's already got a bow in it because I've used it quite a bit. I love how the edging, trimming, and all that came out. And I love the pouch. I already made this pouch a long time ago. It's probably the first pouch I ever made for my tarot decks. I'm like, why can't I make a pouch for my tarot decks? And I made this pouch, and it was way too large. I'm like, I'll leave it because someday I'm going to have a deck that size, and here it is. After it's trimmed and edged, the Guardian Tarot fits perfectly in here. So, and it's all the same colors, so it was meant to be. On to E, and we have 2 decks for that, and those are the 2 Oracle decks I have. First Oracle deck I ever bought, Earth Magic Oracle by Stephen D. Farmer, published by Hay House. This is the second deck I ever bought. The first Oracle deck I ever bought. I bought a tarot deck. Didn't jive with it at all. And then I bought this deck. And this I read with everybody. This is the reason I bought this deck. I'm obsessed with dragonflies. I would say dragonflies are my animal of the air. If that makes sense? Because I feel like I have one for water and earth. This is for the air. Like, it makes, yeah, like there's all these different, earth, air, fire, water. This is my animal for air. It's the dragonfly. It's like my animal. When I realized I was doing some kind of spiritual awakening of some sort, I've lived in Missouri for 20 plus years, never seen a dragonfly here. When I started going through my awakening process, they were following me. I would have hordes of them overhead where I'm sitting right now, just circling me all the time. And I'm like, what's happening? And yeah, that is when I bought this deck, and I used it for everything. I used it all the time. And I was like, maybe I'm just an oracle person. Maybe I can't read tarot. And then, and this is a perfect deck for newbies if you're just starting out anything, or if you're just starting out wanting to learn oracle cards. This is a perfect deck for that. Perfect. So yeah, it's gorgeous, and I love it. And it will forever be in my stash of decks. Just because it was my first oracle deck ever. Then we got, by Stacy DeMarco, Earth Power Oracle, published by Blue Angel. This deck is gorgeous. This might be the newer deck. I might have got this after the Guardian Tarot. Huge cards. But it's all these places that I have always thought about going. It's got little keywords here. It tells you where they're at. And then the book, it goes into even more detail. So it's kind of like a deck that I use for meditative purposes to go into these places. And it's fantastic. And it is freaking gorgeous. I would not go there just because of those. I'm not a fan of snakes. But yeah, this is a gorgeous deck. Gorgeous, gorgeous deck. Gorgeous deck. Look at that. I mean, I can see myself going through that doorway there and observing what's going on there. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. And we got, yeah, the Death Valley. Gorgeous. The obsidian walls in Yellowstone. It's a gorgeous deck. Yeah. Mount Warning. Mecca. The Ganges. I would totally go to all these places and just meditate. Fairy circles. Look at that. Angkor Wat. Come on. I would totally go there. Totally go to all these places. Delphi. Yeah, it's just a beautiful day. I'll use it strictly for don't know why I can't say that. But that is my one of two decks for the letter E for ANGE. Now we've moved on to the last two letters. So we got L and A. So for L, I was like, what do I have for L? What do I have for L? And then I'm like, idiot. I have my favorite tarot deck ever, Light Seers. I'm like, hello. Published by Hay House. It is Christine is the creator. Playing. This is the only deck I have in my collection that I love to smell it. I did edge it in this like teal. It's the backs. This deck has been well loved. Well loved. I did not come on the scene, tarot scene, before the Kickstarter, which I missed the Kickstarter, which I kick myself for daily, because I will never be able to afford, if I do find one, the Kickstarter version of this deck, ever. But I'm so happy it came out mass market. When I first entered the tarot scene, it wasn't out yet. And then as soon as I saw it, I was like, I need this deck in my life, and realized it was it was a Kickstarter. It was out on mass market, and I was able to just buy it. I love this deck. I don't know what it is. If I could put my essence into a deck, it would be the Light Seers. It would be everything I'm not, everything I've thought of, everything I wanted to be, is in this deck. It's that friend that you have that is sweet and nice, but they're also always going to be honest with you and say, hey, yeah, you're being an ass. Or, hey, maybe you should apologize to that person because you wronged them instead. But they do it in such a way that you're like, yeah, I agree. I'm an ass. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous deck, and I will, yeah, it's always my number one. It's been my number one since I got it. And that is the Light Seers. And I love it. I love the coloration of it. I love everything about this deck. And it's funny because I don't have any other Chrysan decks. And I have no desire for any other Chrysan decks because, frankly, they all fall flat for me. They either have, I'll take that back, the Oracle deck she has, I have. And it is actually the opposite to me. It's kind of a smart ass, where this one is a loving friend. That one's kind of the smart ass friend that you don't like to take in public because you never know what they're going to say. And I think they go well together. But any of her other tarot decks, I can't do it. So that is L. We're on to the last letter of my name, A. And I'm like, do I have two A decks? I know I had the A taken out of me. And then I was looking right at it. I'm like, crap. It's the Alice in Wonderland Tarot. And I got this at the, and it's by Minerva Siegel. Inside Editions is the publication. Yes, it's a partial pip deck. But it's also a Barnes & Noble exclusive tarot deck, which means it comes in a cool little pouch. And it's got the great book with it. I don't mind partial pip decks. In fact, I would prefer them. Love the cardstock on these. I have the Supernatural Tarot, which kind of disappointed me because I if you're going to go off of a TV show, there were some cards that could have been better chosen. Then I got The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I fell instantly in love with it, even though I'd never seen the movie. Then I was chomping at the bit to get the, what is it? Disney Villains, which I got. Fell flat. And I'm like, no! And then I got this one, and it kind of fell flat at first. But I still use it more often than the rest of them, except for the Nightmare Before Christmas. That's my favorite of the 4. But these are the backs, but they all have the same exact cardstock. They all are partial pip decks. But there's something about the Alice in Wonderland tarot that, like this tower, how many of us have felt like that? Just like this miserable, like, everything is falling apart around me and there's nothing I can do. I'm stuck. I love it. I love the gentleness of it too. But there's some parts of it that are not so gentle. It's like a good balance, even with these partial pips. I'm going to show y'all the Chariot in this is like crazy. There you go. The spears are swords. The teacups are cups. The hedgehogs, flowers are pentacles. Maybe that's the flowers are wands. The flowers are wands. How pretty they are. And the Knight of Spears. Hedgehogs are pentacles. But it's a gorgeous deck. I'm not saying any of their decks are not gorgeous. They are. The only one I was super disappointed with was the Supernatural Tarot, because there could have been better choices made for some of the ones that were not pips. And I don't use it because of that. Look how cute. Like, come on. And these kind of stick together. Look at their Judgment. He's cute. This is the reason I bought this deck. I'm like, he is adorable. This is the first like adorable deck I fell for. I don't do cute and cuddly or adorable decks. But I saw this kitty and I'm like, I need him. I need him in my life. Badly. And then look at the little hedgehogs. Like, come on. It's adorable. The Empress. Just adorable. Adorable deck. The One of Hedgehogs or the Ace of Hedgehogs. The King of Teacups. It's the door handle. Come on. It's a beautiful deck. I'm looking for, we got the Magician here, the Mad Hatter, but he's not. Is it the Mad Hatter? I think he was, but sometimes with it being a partial pip deck, I'm looking for my Chariot, but I can't find it. Because sometimes the images, to me, in these types of decks, these Minerva Siegel Inside Editions decks, here's the way I'm looking at it. And this is the way it's been pretty much since the first one I got. Sometimes the images are overwhelming. Like this suspension, this is a hangman. That's almost overwhelming for me because it's like, she's upside down, but it's like chaos around her. Everything's like floating around. And then you get to something like this and it kind of helps you breathe through between the cards, if that makes sense. And that's how I feel with all of these Minerva Siegel decks, is like you get these and then you get something like this and it just helps you breathe in the card better. Like I don't know if I'm explaining it right. I don't know where my Chariot card is. Oh, it's right there. This is devastating to me. So much of my year last year was my soul card is the Chariot. Last year was my Chariot year, and so much of the year I felt like this, where I have no control over what's happening or what's going on in life. And that's a prime example of these Minerva Siegel decks. Is you get this overwhelming card like this. It's almost overwhelming, overpowering. And then you get something like this. And you're like, oh, it's like a breather in between the heavy duty stuff. And I kind of like that about these decks. And that's why a lot of people have talked smack crap about Minerva Siegel decks. I get it. You want the whole thing to not be pips. You want it to all be illustrated pips. But I think they're done in such a way that you have to take a breather in between those pictures. And that's what I see in the Minerva Siegel decks. Yeah, so that's what I see. But that is my A for the last letter in Angela. So that is my decks for my name. I don't know if that, like I said, I saw this tag like 2 years ago. I'm just now getting around to do it because I just now realized I have letters now. All the letters. And I didn't want to buy just decks for the heck of it for that. So I'm doing it now, and I think the sun's finally going to try to come out. It's been raining off and on all day. Cloudy. No sun. Anyway, that's all my decks. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And y'all have a good night. Bye.